Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the 4 queens of tarot and what they've taught me about managing fear, stress, and anxiety. So of course, before we get too far into this conversation, I want to mention I am not a mental health care professional. I am very pro mental health care, and none of this is meant to replace or substitute any type of mental health care. This is just my experience using the tarot as a tool to work through stress and anxiety. Now, we're going to talk about the queens because the queens are water, right? So they're that inner realm of emotions, and among other things, but we're talking about emotions today. They also speak to me very much about self-tending, about boundaries, things along these lines. So I think that they're the natural court cards to help us with navigating stress and anxiety and fear. Now, we're going to start with the Queen of Swords, partly because she's my favorite, so stick with me, but also because I think generally when we start to talk about fear, anxiety, stress, we are really talking about the interaction between the water element and the air element. We're talking about that interaction between our emotions and our thoughts. Because the emotion is one thing, but the thoughts and the stories that accompany it are actually another thing. And so who better to help us understand and navigate the interaction between water and air on an internal level especially than the Queen of Swords. Now, this is the Queen of Swords from the Ember and Aura tarot, which was my first deck that I really worked with, so I just love it. It's not for everybody, but I love it. And this was my first Queen of Swords that I worked with, and she's very strong here. You can feel her boundaries. You get the sense of air, though, really, working in this card. She gets a reputation for being cold, dismissive, perhaps, these types of things. I don't experience her that way unless she's really in her shadow aspect. Instead, what the Queen of Swords is really asking me is this true? Okay, the Queen of Swords, to me, and you can see like in this depiction how she's like really intimately connected to her sword. And in this one, she's really got that sword planted in the ground. She's really connected to the truth. So when the Queen of Swords is helping me to navigate my anxiety, and I think she's the one that has helped me the most, what she's asking is this true? There's the emotion that you're feeling, but then there's the stories you're telling yourself. And those stories, are they true? When I'm feeling that spiral, when something scares me and I'm starting to spiral out of control, as far as the stories in my head go, there's that emotion of fear or anxiety, but then there's the stories that I tell myself, and are those stories true? And that is what I have found that the Queen of Swords really, really asks. She says, is this true? And I think that that's a really important thing. Does it make the anxiety go away? No, but it does help me to navigate it, to know, okay, there's the feeling, there's the water, and then there's the thoughts, there's the air, and there's where they meet, and what is true. So we also have, then let's talk about the Queen of Cups, right? So the Queen of Cups really is the water, like she's the water of the water. So where the Queen of Swords has asked me to navigate where the water and the air meet, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Cups is really asking me to sit with the emotion, to be present with the emotion, to see what my intuition really has to say. Because for me, when my intuition is speaking to me, it never feels fearful. Even if it is giving me not great news, right? Even if it's telling me something that's not super pleasant, it doesn't have fear associated with it. It doesn't have that circular, spiraling sort of thought pattern that my anxiety can have. So while the Queen of Swords asked me, is it true? The Queen of Cups says, now that you know what's true and maybe what's not so true, can you really sit with that emotion? Can you be present with it? Can you go deep enough down into the water to find the stillness? Because when we're working with that water element, which is another one I've really had to work to understand, you know, water fills whatever container it has, and it is always calm when we can get far enough down into it. We have turbulence in the water where it meets the air. We have turbulence in the water where it meets the earth, such as like a rock. But we don't, if you think about a lake or an ocean, even if the top of it is very chaotic, because it's interacting with a chaotic air element, or an air element in its chaotic form. If we can get down far enough, it's actually going to be still down there. So the Queen of Cups, like I like the Queen of Cups. She's not my favorite, but I like her because her eyes are closed, but her third eye is open. You get this dreamy, watery feel from her for sure. I like this Queen of Cups as well from Tarot of the Abyss. I really like the Queens in Tarot of the Abyss. You know, where we're really just being present with the emotion and getting down into it. So then let's move to the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles. This is the queen who I think, like, the Queen of Cups is very emotional. She's like, really feel the emotion. The Queen of Swords is a little bit more, you know, like a sword. She's a little sharper. Like, is this true? The Queen of Pentacles, to me, she's like, yes, I know you're feeling anxiety, but have you eaten anything? Are you thirsty? Like, are you dehydrated? Maybe you should take a nap. Like, the Queen of Pentacles to me is very much about tending my physical body, and is the way I have or have not tended my physical body recently, is that making this anxiety, this stress, is it making it worse? So am I, like I said, for me, often when I'm hungry or dehydrated, my emotions can kind of run away with me. And so she's going to very much come in and say, okay, this is not all a mental and emotional game. This is also a physical game, because we are physical in a physical realm, and so our bodies need to be cared for. She's also going to come in and remind me to do grounding. Like, if I haven't done a grounding practice recently, to come in and ground my body as well. And then we have the Queen of Wands. And I'm just talking about the Queen of Wands last. And again, not for any particular reason. This is my cat's coming to say hi, guys. Not for any particular reason, but she, for me, is really going to ask about two things with my anxiety. Have I done any sort of cleansing? Like, do I need energetic boundaries? That's what I'm looking for. She's really going to come in and say, okay, how are your energetic boundaries? Is what you're feeling coming from you, or is it coming from someone else? Is it yours, or is it the collective? Is it yours, or is it somebody else's? And so she's going to come in and she's going to say, maybe it's time to do a little cleansing, you know, to go along with that grounding of yours, you know, cleanse the energetic body. She's also going to come in and say, when was the last time you did something you were passionate about? When was the last time you did something that really lit your soul on fire? Because I think that when we're not tending to that piece of us, it's also very easy to start spiraling into that emotion and into that stress. So she's going to come in and she's going to say, all right, you know, we've done all the practical, in quotes, we've done all the practical things, but don't forget about spiritual boundaries, and don't forget about doing the things that light you up, because that is going to help to release that stress or to remove those blocks. So these are the things that the queens have taught me over the last, since I started tarot, but especially over the last, say, maybe year. The last year, I've really been working with the queens, trying to really take my understanding of each element to the next level. And I have been working through quite a bit of anxiety just with what's going on in the world, being a new mom, being somebody who tends to be a little bit more prone to anxiety, kind of these things anyway. So these are my thoughts on this, and I hope that maybe like you found it a little bit helpful. Maybe there's something that you can take away. Maybe you can sit with one of the queens, and see what she has to say to you. And also, if you're somebody who has less than pleasant experiences with the Queen of Swords, I say give her another chance because she's really my favorite. I don't find her to be harsh. I find her just to be, she just wants to know if what you're saying is the truth. But yeah, she's my girl. I love the Queen of Swords. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye.